Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Day 5 of the challenge. We've been going hard and deep into marketing and talking about all the various topics and pieces that go into marketing and supporting growing your business and sharing your message. And today is one of the biggest. I think our final piece of PR. You do all the first 4 steps and you get to now what do you do with PR? How do you create it? How do you attract it? How do you manage it? A lot of different ways. How do you debunk the myth of what PR is in some cases too?
I love, 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 love. I do. I actually do. I love PR. Absolutely. I'm agreeing with you. I mean, I think it is a great beast to harness, and I think it's a great way to build your businesses and build your brand. But you have to do it the right way, and you have to be ahead of it before it gets ahead of you.
And, get ahead of it before it gets ahead of you, understand the beast, I think. Don't throw money at the beast. It will be my lesson that I'm going to share today. My mom probably would love to be on this call and tell you all about that because she reminds me that often in some of my past businesses. Can you imagine that?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. My mom reminds me of what I might have done wrong there.
Okay.
I've spent and wasted, quite frankly, tens of thousands of dollars on PR services, wire services, different things. But in doing so, I found some things that do work and are very cost effective and are really amazing to use, and things that we've used now in our company that have saved us literally thousands of dollars a month. So
Can I just sort of give them a quick little insight to the journey of PR, how it began for me? So because it starts in a very small stage when you're starting. And we can go back many years ago. I don't know why at some point I thought PR was a necessity for me, but I was doing an event for the LA Philharmonic in Los Angeles, and I had done it a couple years in a row. And there was this really sweet woman that was the publicist for the LA Philharmonic. I was the designer to produce the event in the Music Center in downtown Los Angeles. And I had no reason to have PR, right? I wasn't on television. I didn't have a book. I didn't have a brand. I didn't really have a name out there really that was large enough to have publicity around it. But when I met this woman, Sylvie, she kind of engaged me in, you ever consider having a publicist? She was a one-woman operation with her daughter-in-law, actually, who helped her. And she worked out of her home. And she got me incredibly engaged in this. And, for a very small minimal fee, which was a monthly retainer, which is typically what publicists would charge as a monthly retainer or an agreed contract for a certain period of time. She began to put me on placements in very small little cable shows. I remember one of my first experiences was, if anyone can remember, Kitty Bartholomew on, I think it was HGTV. And I went on and I would do a little segment on parties and show little details. And I remember flying back to Los Angeles and doing that appearance. And it was really great because it gave me the understanding a little bit more clearly of what publicity is and the process of how a publicist pitches you, not just to television, but to the local markets in print, in long leads, which means long leads are 6 months or longer out. Short leads are People Magazine, InStyle, all the things that are moving quickly. And you start to develop this relationship with the public, and you start to create this relationship with the media, who starts to see your name, even if it's just dropped in a story or using you as an expert. The name becomes consistent under the category of, for me at the time, was celebrations, was parties. But you grow with a publicist. You do. You grow, and then you let go, and you get a different publicist. And that might be after 5 years or 10 years, but you want to make sure that the publicist understands who we are and what our goals are and what we're looking to achieve. And I don't want to get too further down that line because I can get further in depth with it later, because the leaps of working with a publicist that understands you and gets you is what can make a very big difference in the success of your career.
Yeah, I think we have some really big keys we want to hit on today. We want to hit on one, how to attract some free PR for your business, how to also manage your PR for your business, what you can do to build that credibility for yourself, what you can continue to learn to do that, and how to manage it, and how to manage it in a way that hopefully you can avoid some of our learning process that costs a lot of money to go through that learning process. And you can do it really efficiently and enjoy doing it too, and have a great outcome from it. Because I think from PR, one of the biggest pieces that you get out is that credibility. You build that base. So all our different pieces of marketing have been very important, and they all play into this too, of networking. Well, through networking, you can find editors of different publications and different media outlets that you can build relationships with, but you have to have something to be able to provide to them, something of value, and you have to be able to support them in some way with what you have to provide. Otherwise, it doesn't work either. You can look at it through referrals. Absolutely, you can get PR through referrals, because if you do a great job and you create a great experience, people are watching and people want to share that. So that's something to see of how it, again, connects here into PR. You can get it through social media, of what you're posting out there that might be exciting and meaningful, that gets picked up and gets realized. You can get it through public speaking. So all of those play into today. Real easy when you look at, I think, some free sources of PR. PJ shared this on a past challenge. I used this one when I started to learn my PR process and how to manage it for my business as well, of the Help a Reporter Out. If you have not signed up for that subscription yet, sign up for it. There's a free option, there's a paid option. Sign up and start with the free option. If you're just getting into it and aren't really sure what to do yet, start with the free option. See how you do. Are you following those e-blasts when you're getting them? Are you seeing relevant content for you? And what Help a Reporter Out is, we're reporters, editors, media. They're sending out topics that they're looking for stories on. Now, they're going to send out, this request goes out to everyone. So everyone's going to see this, and everyone's going to submit back. Whoever wants to submit back something is going to submit back their story of why they feel they should be selected to be featured here. So make sure, one, that you're going to stick out, that you're short, concise, that you're professional, what you're submitting is grammarly correct, and looks good. If you just submit something like, hey, I'm this person and I'm an amazing planner, so you want to pick me for this story, they're not going to pick you. You need to send them what the content is. You're going to invest time. Again, this whole thing is about.
Yeah, you have to give them the story. I mean, you have to provide them the content so they actually feel as if you're doing some of the work for them and giving them the sort of the entrance or the entree into, why you would be great for that piece to be picked up. So I'm not saying that people in the world of excuse me, I'm not saying people in the world of publicity are not doing their jobs, but they need the information to be able to do their jobs better. And you can give them and lead them and direct them and guide them down a path that you're hoping to get. Doesn't mean that's going to happen, but it means you're starting the process with you leading the moment and you allowing them to then consider you as a story or part of a story. There's no reason why you can't be part of a story. When you're collectively in a story, your name is listed with other professionals, it just elevates the position of who you are as an expert and also your company.
What I really liked about it too, for my business and from my standpoint, was it gave me great ideas of other topics I hadn't thought about to write about or to research on or to share with my network. So even if you write the story, it doesn't get picked up by that publication, don't look at it as a failure. You created this content now that you can use and you can share through your social media, through your blog. You can work on it a little bit more and create that as a topic for your public speaking. So it all is so interconnected. I saw that yesterday in one of our questions of someone getting discouraged because they create all these design templates that sometimes a client doesn't like. And so they invested all this time and they don't get hired for it. So don't get discouraged by that. You spent time cultivating your design skill. And you know what? The right client for that look is going to come back and want that look, or you're going to elevate it to the next level for that client. So just like this, when you're writing a pitch or you're writing a story that might not get picked up, it's all good because you're learning from it and you're developing content. You're crafting yourself into what we're talking about here, and going to get to in our final point of how do you become an expert? How do you get recognized? How do you get the credibility? You get that through doing the work.
I need to give you a really great example of starting small with PR and seeing how it can actually elevate and grow your business. So when I was in the very first 5 years of my business, teeny little business, I did an article, or I was interviewed for an article called the Journal News. And the Journal News is a local publication in Westchester County, New York. It's a small black and white printed piece. It gets the eyes of a small community. So this is my backyard of where I grew up, legitimately. And funny that I'm remembering this story because I think it's incredibly important for this moment. In that story, it talked about, local neighborhood boy creates this event company in Port Chester, New York. So it's already sort of signified, the town in the county of what the paper is for, right? So many people read it. 2 people read it, cut it out, and kept it. Read it, cut it out, and kept it. This is all before social media, but this is still PR, no matter how you look at it. And those 2 people to this day, Janice and Joel hired me to do their twin daughter's bat mitzvah, which was a massive celebration in an airport hangar based upon a small, tiny piece, a tiny article that I decided to accept the interview. Fast forward, they did 3 consecutive over-the-top summer parties for no reason at all in their beautiful backyard, which were very large parties. Fast forward, I did each of those daughters' weddings. One was 2 years ago, one was 4 years ago, from an article that I chose to take by a reporter of a local newspaper. Second person, Sharon, hired me to do her first, her second, and her third all children's bar mitzvahs, which were over the top in New York City, from the same article. These 2 people read and they kept. And to this day, both of them I stay in touch with. One of them is a very close friend now. They remind me how they found me. Yeah. And that's PR. That is the ability of how the press and the media can elevate you and bring you business. So when someone calls and said, I want to talk to you about, going to make this up, a reporter or a publicist calls and says, can you talk to me a little bit about cookies for a party? Don't say no. Figure out how to spin that and figure out how cookies can make you give you a larger piece where people read about the things you do at a party and make cookies part of it. I just made that up, but there's a way to spin it to your benefit to allow people to read about you. Most important thing in the article, 2 things. Every time that you speak to anyone that wants to put you in press is obviously 3 things. Your name, most important thing. Second most important thing is how to reach you, the name of your company, which could be your name possibly, or the company name. And the last thing is, what makes you stand out? What makes you stand out? No, not a long explanation, a simple series of words. And that's what grabs the attention of someone that doesn't pay attention.
Local PR is
brilliant.
A brilliant, great topic, because you know who else shared a great story with us was Jeff Winchester from Indiana. Jeff came to the experience as an attendee. He's a planner and a designer. He has it's a family business that he took over from his mom that she started. And he needed a little kick in the butt. He came to the experience in Bermuda, had an amazing time, shared that story on social media about what happened to him in Bermuda, his experiences, what he learned, what he took back. he got a call from a local reporter that said, you know, you're from Indiana and, you know, it's this small town, and just sharing all about Bermuda and all these things on social media. They wanted to know more from what he shared because it was so engaging. So the local reporter saw his social media post, did a full-blown story on Jeff. Jeff got 3 events from that story. So local.
Again, local.
But good events. They were good events. He shared them with us. He was so excited. So the power of local PR is really, really, really big. And I think that's something that sometimes we forget, because you look at, well, I want to be on ABC, I want to be on NBC, I want to be on CBS, I want to be in the Wall Street Journal, I want to be in Martha Stewart Weddings, sorry. I want to be all these different, you know, big, huge publications and things. They don't always get you the return that you want. The other thing is, you know, I've seen this on some emails, and it's kind of, to me, it's a turnoff. To other people, maybe it isn't. But I look at it as an infomercial. When you start to see the as seen on ABC and CBS, or as seen in or featured in X, Y, and Z on like an email signature. I was on all of those for my business. I had a video segment on them. I never felt the need to do that, or I didn't want to do that, because then I felt like those late night infomercials of as seen on TV things, where I'm not an as seen on TV product. You guys are not as seen on TV products. You're amazing creative individuals.
There's a very large difference for us, all of us that are sitting here in this industry of parties and celebrations and making memories happen, is that I don't perceive myself, nor I think anyone should perceive themselves as a celebrity. So we're actually experts, and experts come with a very different perspective on what they provide, obviously, and the readers, the potential clients that would be reading a piece on you, or while you are in an article, it's a different approach, you know. And you're right, Joe. As seen on, featured in, you know, that's typically positioned for a celebrity or a specific product that doesn't have a personality. We have 2 things. We have a product, which is our business, but we have a personality to our business, which is yourselves. And that's really important. So you want to personalize your stories as best as possible. And, you know, if anyone's ever read any story that I've ever done in any publication, whether it be TV, press, or publication, or printed, you'll always notice that I always talk about how I got started. And I keep it fast and simple, because it's a story that never changes. It's consistent from the very first day, but it reminds people that I had grassroots. I started from a small family of my grandfather, and it has expanded. And I always thank those people. And people connect to people who are, what's the word I'm looking for? That are, I don't want to say humble, but that just are real, that are authentic and real. And typically I have found over my career through publicity, and I've had a publicist over 20 years, and it's an investment again, they try to elevate you to a very big level because it makes their company look bigger. And I try to keep it here without it becoming something that he's untouchable. You have to be very careful with publicity. If you get to the point where you have a publicist that's trying to make you this massive being, it backfires on you, because then you're unreachable. And when you're unreachable, then you're not getting the business, then you're getting a persona that he's so successful, I don't need to hire that person, because there's other people that will be less expensive. So you have to weigh how to handle PR so it doesn't put you on a pedestal that makes you unreal.
Let me dive into that a little bit more, because this is exactly what happened to us in our business. Was all these, we had amazing PR that was going out. It was very powerful, very strong. But then all of a sudden, the regular consumer and the luxury consumer we wanted all of a sudden shifted and thought, oh, well, David only does celebrity events. So even though I have this big budget, he doesn't do my event because he only does celebrity events. And we definitely didn't want that, because that wasn't our focus. Our focus was working with people, that anybody out there that wanted to create a beautiful luxury event. So it's a very, very big one to think about and to use. And when I said this piece about, you know, not putting on your website or on your emails as seen or as featured on, if you get on a major piece of PR or any piece of PR, celebrate it. But use that as the opportunity to celebrate it and say that you were in this. whether it's through your social media and connect it. So like, oh my God, here's my video interview from where I was on the local NBC morning show, or here's my video, or here's the audio recording of being on the local internet radio show, or here's the copy of my article that I was in. Share that content and share your excitement that way about where you were featured in. That makes a bigger impact than just seeing a logo of some publication, a much bigger impact. I'm so happy that we've resonated with a lot of people, and like Latanya, yes, go back to the internet radio shows that you've passed on in the past and take them up on that offer and do it, because even if you don't get a client from that time period that you spend with them, you're sharing your story, you're sharing your message, you're practicing it, you're getting better at it. You're sharing, tips on events, you're sharing tips on running your business. You're sharing it, you're educating it, you're going to get better at that. So continue to do that. Now, the other way of looking at free PR is look at the publications you like. Larissa had shared in the Facebook group a great resource that listed out all these different publications to consider. Now, dive into those, see who's the editor, try to network with them, try to see what their content is about and how you might fit in. And if you have ideas of how you fit in and how you could support to elevate that publication, that's where you start to reach out and try to build relationships there too. That's something that's free. That's your investment of your time, but doesn't cost you having to hire somebody to do it for you.
There's a couple of great questions here that are coming up. And one of them was, when a reporter interviews you for an article, do you have the opportunity to review the draft before it's published? It's a great question. If you have a publicist, that's probably more possible than if you had not had a publicist. And often reporters are calling you, they're on deadlines. They're typically, very quick. They're always behind the 8 ball, and they're going to call you up a day or 2 days, a week before, if that, and ask you to do an interview. Here's the thing. If someone wants to do an interview on something, take the interview. You have the ability, if you can think straight on this, is the ability to change the direction of that interview and give them what you choose is incredibly important to your business and to who you are as an expert. Remember, always lead by calling yourself an expert. I learned that from television when people would refer to me as celebrity wedding planner. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a wedding planner. I'm an expert. I mean, if you think I'm a celebrity, I think that's adorable. I don't take that as a compliment, but I always position it as leading expert in the events industry or expert of weddings or celebrations. So try to take any interview that comes your way. It can't hurt unless it's a topic you clearly don't believe in or respect, but make sure that you take the interviews. Just to follow up on when I started with that question that someone asked, you're probably not going to get the opportunity to review a draft. Most reporters won't do that unless it's a feature piece in a publication that's going to showcase images that you have to approve, photos of yourself or your product has to be approved. That is possible.
Yes. One of the other ways that you can work on your interview too, I think, like with Cece's question, do you ever get questions in advance? Yes. So when somebody approaches you for that interview, schedule it, but as you're scheduling it, ask if you can get those questions in advance. If you don't ask, then you definitely won't get them in advance. But just comes down to that confidence of ask. Really, as you're getting started on this mentality of PR, break it down for yourself and don't look at it as this big picture of, oh, I have to get into people or I have to get into these big ones. Really, I'm so happy to see that it is this piece of local and it's resonating of get to your local level. That's where you work. That's your backyard. Be that leader, be that expert in that local community. Because we've had parties in People magazine. Cielo's birthday was in People magazine. It doesn't do anything for your business. It really,
but it keeps you relatable and relative and on top of mind. So I think being on top of mind is part of PR, and I think that's important. Once you start to fade into the background and you're not present as much, there's somebody else that's right around the corner that might get more PR.
Yeah. Now, so you can try to reach out, make contacts with the publications that you want to be featured in, try to make the relationships with editors. We've had luck with that and success. We've had long-standing relationships with some editors, but then eventually they move and you have to make new ones. The other one you can do is when it comes to submitting and sending out press releases. For a long time, I spent way too much money in my previous business. We spent too much money in this business until we, figured out how to do it a little better. There are services out there that you can sign up for that will send out your press releases, and it will not cost you a lot of money. It will get you featured in all these different places that everyone promises to get you featured in, and it won't cost you a lot. It will cost you $39 or $59 per press release to get featured in all these different places. It's EIN.com. You go, you look at it. It's a press release service. Look at that. That's a great one to use if you start writing press releases. Now, press releases, before you write one, make sure you know what it is. Make sure you know the purpose of it. Get some lessons, do some Google, do some trainings on it. Just as we've been talking about this whole time, invest in yourself, invest in a training course that's out there online to teach you how to make a great press release, a meaningful press release. And then you can do it yourself and you can send it out for $39 or $49 instead of spending thousands of dollars on retainer fees for a publicist or on any kind of other service.
Your best friend right now should be your local TV network. Local affiliate should be your best friend. And what I mean best friend is there's typically one producer for the entire morning show locally that's who's trying to book segments, and they need people to fill airtime. I still to this day, if I'm going, let's say, to Ohio to take a meeting, if there's a producer there that wants to put me on and talk about pretty much anything because they're looking to fill space, I can say I want to promote weddings, I want to promote parties, I want to promote a product line, I want to come on and talk about, I don't know, when the royal wedding was happening, I was all over the place talking about the royal wedding. The reality was, I wasn't at the royal wedding. I could certainly give you advice on a wedding, but it's segueing out of the big hype on the royal wedding. So just make yourself very available. Find out who that local producer is at the ABC affiliate, KTLA here. We work with in Los Angeles, Fox. All of these news outlets need you. They need content that is different than the mainstream news.
I haven't really, early on I did sponsored pieces for trying to get segments. And again, realized you're spending a lot of money to get that sponsored segment. It's not really the best use, in my opinion, of your money. You have so many more outlets, so many more ways that you can get your message out there and connect.
Are you saying a sponsored airtime?
Yes.
So that puts you in front of the camera. I'd rather that money go to a professional to hire you, a publicist to get the gig.
Yes, there are some morning shows like some on the local news channels where 30 minutes of it is these 5 to 10 minute segments.
It's like info.
Yeah.
It's like an infomercial at that point.
Yeah. So there's so many things there that you can really, really look at that are low hanging fruit. Look at the low hanging fruit when it comes to your PR. One, you need to, really position yourself as an expert by being an expert. Continue to work and to learn, do the coursework, invest in yourself. You need to spend the time to grow your business, to grow your credibility, show that you're credible in how you interact with your clients, how you interact with your vendors. Have that word of mouth also support you through that.
Did you talk about press releases?
We did.
Okay.
What did you want to say about press
No,
releases?
I wanted to make sure we cover press releases in depth. Okay.
Yeah. Press releases, you have to have a specific point to them. Press releases can't be, look at me, look at my company. It has to be meaningful.
There's an angle. There has to be a very specific topic on everything PR-wise has to have a topic because editors, reporters, producers have a very short attention span. So if you don't make it clear for them, they're not going to take the time to understand why you would be top of mind to be considered as an article or a feature piece or in a piece or on camera?
So we're going to go to PJ in just a couple minutes,
Yes,
but
please.
before we go to PJ, I think there's something valuable that just clicked in. Can you share some experiences when you're working on your PR, you get the interviews. Now you're on the phone with an interviewer and you get stumped by a question.
Yeah, it
What do
happens
you
a
do?
lot. Well, first of all, I always compliment the reporter. I always do that. I always let them know. I mean, listen, let me tell you something. I would say 60% of reporters are terrible. They have zero personality, and there's a small percentage that are engaged legitimately. I'm not saying that to them. So you have to always carry yourself slightly with more energy than the reporter without being over the top. And when reporters ask me questions, which by the way, a lot of comments have been coming up, do you request the questions in advance? I don't like questions in advance because I'm too prepared. I like to come across incredibly off the cuff with my intel of what I've known over my career. If you're in the beginning portion of your career and you want to be prepared with questions, it's fine. It's just my choice not to do that. So when a reporter asks a question that I'm not comfortable with, or if I'm stumped, the first thing I do not say is no comment because it's a joke. So I'm not going to say no comment. I'm going to say, wow, that's something I haven't thought about. And let me get back to you on that. Now, guess what? They've already moved on after you hung the phone up. So they're not going to, if they come asking you again, then there's a very big reason why they want to know that. But if I say I want to come back to that at a later time, it sort of suffices the moment and we've moved on to the next question. You always need to be in the driver's seat with a reporter. You always in some way have to push them and guide them into a direction you want them to go. I've taken many calls with reporters where the topic might be one specific thing that I was told, and you get on the phone and they're going for something else. Your job is to turn that wheel and take an exit and take them down that exit ramp and give them the direction on how you want this to go. I can't promise you'll go exactly 100% in that direction, but you can lead them. They want to know something about what we do and what you do and what we can give them as an advice and content.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's a really great one. I think when you are looking at interviews and even at PR, when you're just getting started in your business and saying, well, what do I have to talk about? You have to talk about that you're starting a new business, that there are celebrations and success stories of new business. Everyone wants to see somebody succeed for the most part.
Hey, listen, they could talk about, I'm not joking, this is not about putting me on a pedestal right now, but you can talk to your local media and say, I've been taking this challenge with David Tutera and just joined the mentorship program. That's a story. I mean, that's a story for you as a local professional who's taken this moment to build their business. So it's like, hey, my name is, and I am part of this mentorship program where I'm now going to be someone in this community that has more content, more information to create successful parties for the community. And that's a story. I mean, I'm not saying the story is me. The story is you
and how you
having spent time with me. And that allows there to be a new story that they may never have heard of before.
That's like Jeff's story.
Yes.
That's absolutely like Jeff's story, where he went to the experience, he did something unique for his community, and he shared it. And he shared it in a passionate and powerful way, and it created results for him. Created results because he shared it also with passion. So that's how he got there. So, well, PJ, I want to bring you on because you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes on the site and with everything around the challenge and also around the mentorship program. We're excited because next week, the second and fourth Wednesdays are our mentorship calls where we go one-on-one private with the group. And next week, David's pulling back the curtain and revealing the difficult clients, the difficult situations of events, and we're going to talk through those and how to deal with them. But PJ, you've done so much work, and we thank you so much for really helping us put this program together for the mentorship side of it, because it's amazing to see what everyone's doing. Would love you to just share some more insight on the offer that you're putting together and the site and everything.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, this is, I'm getting a lot of love in the VIP chat. Thank you so much. So yeah, I have a lot of excitement around today because this is where I get to invite you to join the David Tutera mentorship. Oh my gosh. And I want to swing back to a conversation we had about sales and give you a bonus tip to help you with your sales. Would that be all right? So if you'd like that, say like, yeah, bring it on Facebook or in the Zoom chat. I'll give you a bonus tip for your sales. It'll really help you. All right, cool. We're getting like, yeah. Awesome. So my friend and online marketing expert, Brenda Normand, says that if you have something of value to share that can help change someone's life for the better, and you don't offer it, you are doing them a disservice. How does that land for you? Go ahead and let me know in the VIP chat or on Facebook, like, how does it land for you to hear that? Because here's the thing, we would be doing you a huge disservice if we didn't let you know about this program, which is really a once in a lifetime opportunity. So the David Tutera Mentorship Program is for you if you're passionate about growing your event planning business to be more successful than ever. And you realize that you're going to go farther and faster by learning directly from the master, David Tutera, the #1 event and wedding planner, the #1 event and wedding expert in the world. And after 30 years of experience and being the go-to leader in this industry, David is finally, for the first time, peeling back the curtain and sharing his success secrets and offering a mentorship program for other event planners. So it's really extraordinary. And you can see all the details of what the mentorship includes at mentorwithdavid.com. So Tori, please post that link in the Facebook and in the VIP chat. And I'll show you what this site looks like real quick. So if you go to mentorwithdavid.com, this is what the site looks like. And you can go through and see all the details of what you get and what it includes. And of course, you can click Get Started and sign up to be mentored by David Tutera personally. Here's a bunch of the topics he's going to go over, from why clients should hire you to how to gracefully handle challenging clients, best practices for contracts and payments, how to grow into planning high-end events, and everything around client attraction, business growth strategies, vendors and venues, balancing life and business. I mean, it's really amazing. So here's the overview of what you'll get. We'll talk about that in a sec. A note from David, how people are reacting to it. And then of course, here's the link to sign up. So that is mentorwithdavid.com. And if you already know this is for you, you may want to just click that Get Started button and become a member now, because the sooner you get in, the better it's going to be. I'll just let you know that right now. So first of all, you get monthly live training calls with David Tutera. These are about 60 minutes, second Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. All of that is on the site. So if you didn't write that down fast enough, it's on the site. You also get a monthly live group mentoring call with David on Zoom the fourth Wednesdays of the month. Also 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is where you get to ask David anything you want about the industry, about your particular business. It's awesome. You also get his recommended resources library. So this is like a treasure trove worth more than the investment just for this. So you get their client budget template that you can use for your sales conversations. You get sample floor plans, you get the timeline template, you get real event case studies with all the pictures and timelines and floor plans and behind the scenes notes. It's like awesome. And you get a library of all the recordings of the trainings and the group mentoring calls. So if you can't be on one live, or you want to review because David doles out a lot of gems, it's great to listen more than once, then all the trainings are in your library, as well as bonus videos, including all the recordings from this challenge. So if you want to see, because you missed it, or go back and review any of the recordings from this challenge or the previous 2 challenges, those are in there as bonuses as well. You also get priority invitation to exclusive David Tutera events and experiences, like the upcoming experience event. And you have, as a bonus, a private online support community for networking and asking questions between calls and getting to connect with other people in the mentorship program. So you get to really build this strong network of rock star event planning professionals being mentored by David, all over the world. So we talked about networking. This is like taking it up to a whole new level. And as I mentioned, he's also added real event case studies of events that he's done, where you can see the videos of how it was put together. You can see photos, floor plans, timelines, and then his behind the scenes notes that that you can learn directly from his experience. So I want to talk about the investment for just a sec and be really transparent with you, because most experts at David's level charge between $100,000 and $250,000 a year to mentor with them. That's just the reality of where we're at right now in this industry. I just completed a mentorship program where I invested $18,000 for 6 months. So $360,000 for the year is what that works out to. And I want to let you know that we've worked very, very hard to make this as affordable and accessible as possible for you. That said, there are a lot of costs associated with creating and running this program, and it is a lot of David and Joey's time. So there is an investment, and it is tiny compared to what it should be. So the investment is only $2,997, so just under $3,000, but you still have enough to go buy yourself a nice coffee for the full year. And if you're in a position to do the full pay and you want to save some money, there it is. Otherwise, it's $297 a month. So for $297, you can get started mentoring with David today. It's just like totally amazing. And when you enroll now, by this coming Monday, September 7th, there's a very special bonus. So if this is something you want to do, sign up now. There's actually 2 special bonuses. The first one is you're going to get a 90-day program with the amazing Joey Toth and Lee Richter, CEO of the Event Planners Association, who you've had the opportunity to meet through this challenge. Both of them are such amazing mentors and movers and shakers in their own right. And they are doing a 90-day, get started, get you ramped up program. So you get extra mentoring over 90 days. That's a $997 program. And you have an inside advantage because you're watching this now. We're going to be sending out an email to the tens of thousands of people on our combined lists. We have over 5,000 people opting in for the challenges. So if you know this is for you, I encourage you to jump in and get started. It's only $297 to get the ball rolling. And I want to share a couple messages from some of our founding members. Sammy says, oh my God, the positioning. I encourage everyone to do this if you can, of course. This is an opportunity that just by joining, doors will open. Just to be able to say, I was mentored by David Tutera and Joey Toth and Lee Richter. Wow, huge. Just that positioning, the sky is the limit. And Brenda shared that she totally agrees. The energy that you feel when you say you are mentoring with David and Joey makes your energy shift and it elevates you. Ann says, I feel like I've just won the David Tutera lottery. Ricardo says, being in the industry for 16 years, I'm being reignited about the business and continue to learn new things. Melissa says, I'm so grateful to be part of the mentorship. It really changed my thinking of what my business can become. And she's been in the business for 18 years. And Vivi says, being mentored by David and Joey is the highlight of 2020 for me and the highlight of my career. Awesome, awesome. So we have a few questions about the mentorship. When does it start? The mentorship program starts immediately, and our next training call is Wednesday, September 9th. What is the call schedule? The 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of each month at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Calls might occasionally get moved back because of holidays or travel, but that's generally when they are. When's the first training call? Just said September 9th at 4 p.m. Pacific. What's the investment? We talked about that. It's $297 a month, or if you're in the position to do the full pay and you like to save money, then it's $29.97 for the whole year. What happens once I sign up? Once you sign up, you'll be taken to a page with your first assignment. And as we get closer to the first call, you'll get a reminder email with the Zoom access information for how to get on. Will I get to interact with David personally? Yes, absolutely. So this program doesn't include like one-on-one sessions with just you and David, but you will be able to ask him questions during the group mentoring calls, the Q&A calls, and this way everyone benefits from each other's questions and David's responses. What are the group mentoring calls? These are video sessions on Zoom where David will be coaching members and answering your questions. So this is where you get direct interaction from David by asking questions and participating, and then everybody in the call can learn. What's the difference between the mentoring call, the training call, and the Q&A call? So the first session of the month is a training call centered around a specific topic. And then the fourth Wednesday is where you get to ask questions. Will David be doing any design or decor classes? Yes. So you'll get details on that as the dates get closer. How interactive is this? Very interactive. Will I be able to interact with other people, members in the program? Yes. Like I said, we have a private online support community, a private Facebook group for all the mentees where you can chat, network, ask questions, share resources with fellow industry professionals. So I think I hit all the questions. I'm going to take one more scroll through the chat here, but David, anything else you want to add?
Everyone's gonna get tired of me saying this because I have said it multiple times over the course of I can't tell you how long. I wish this existed when I started my career. I would have saved so much money, maybe have made less mistakes, but we'll all always make mistakes, right? But I would have made less mistakes and I would have learned and known things better. And, you know, when we began this process of creating the mentorship program, what ignited me the most was knowing how much content I have to share. And that is what's so exciting about where we are today. And, you know, everyone is in a different place. Everyone wants to be at a certain spot in their careers. My responsibility for all of you is that you can ask any question. I always say there's no bad question, no good question. They're all great questions, because it allows you, only if you're listening, guys. So if you're paying attention and listening, an answer at some point in your life, might be right at the moment or somewhere down the road, will serve you well, because it'll give you the chance to continue to grow. You know, we are in an industry that moves so fast. We are in an industry where people expect us to do everything at the blink of an eye. And the reality is that we do it. But the reality is we have to be very careful that we do it beautifully. We have to do it with preciseness. We have to make sure we're doing the best representation of what we want for our clients. And that's why I'm here. That's why we are here. We want to give you the opportunity to do a great job and love what you do and stay in the business for a long period of time and be successful and make money and create celebrations for people that want to walk away with memories and smiles and experiences. Because as I've said consistently, we all of us are storytellers, and let's be the best version of a storyteller. I say as planners, you know, we have to keep bringing this quote up at some point. It's so great. You know, party planner or party designer, event designer. We are magicians, we're wizards, we're choreographers, we're therapists, we're a best friend. We are everything and more to these people that have hired us. And we have to present ourselves with complete connection and compassion. And that is what this mentorship will provide you. More confidence, more intel, and the ability to be better at what we do.
I think that's the best part about this, and that's been my part that I've loved so much too, is that it ignites passion. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be this master of everything, of the storyteller, the magician, the event planner. You have to love what you're doing. And so you have to reconnect to what got you into it, the passion of it. And I think one of the pieces that I love of the group mentorship aspect of it, because we all kind of did that first of, how does a group virtual mentorship thing work?
Right.
It actually really does, because we learn so much from each other. So when we bring somebody on screen with us to share their story, their problem, their success, what's going on, everyone has the opportunity, if you come into that hour coachable and open, to take something away that's very powerful and very great. And, you know, Lee and I had so much fun on the back end of this. Lee, you know, approached me in Bermuda about doing the program for David, but also doing a program for me. And it took a long time for us to get here because I was busy with other things and other things came up. But then when I finally said yes to Lee, let's get this David Terra mentorship program created, we still had in the back of the mind of someday we'd still need to do that Joey one of sharing some other topics and mindsets. And so I'm excited that with this group that signs up for the mentorship program, we were able to offer the bonus of Lisa, my 90-day Get Started program as well, which I think will be another great add-on.
I want to also talk real quickly about some of the things that you will get in the mentorship program other than what PJ explained, which is incredibly important. Those case studies are pretty remarkable because I'm sharing you like the inside information about how the process of the event went. You know, you'll get sketches, and PJ said videos, floor plans, the timelines, and I'll also share with you what may not have gone right and the things that I could have avoided and the mistakes that might have happened that could have been done differently. So listen, I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be, and my mistakes become your strengths. And that's one of the topics for the mentorship people that are already in the program. You know, next week we're talking to people that have already been part of it, and then anyone new joining the mentorship program. It's going to be how to deal with incredibly difficult clients. And how do you stay focused and still love what you do when you know the person that you're working with is someone that you may never want to see again? And the reality is that I have always said is that we have to love what we do. We don't have to love who we work for. We have to love what we do and continue to have the compassion and love for what we create. So when you can remember that, when you have a difficult client, that's what I'm going to be getting into next Wednesday coming up if you become a member, and for those that are. And those are those little bits of information on the tricks that I've allowed myself to understand on how to stay focused and stay 30 plus years in the industry. It's not an easy feat, but I still love it today. I actually probably love it more today than I've ever loved it because I'm aware of my surroundings. I have enough knowledge that I can create moments and allow my clients to really enjoy the process. So join us because there's a lot here, a lot that I want to give to all of you. And I think it would be very powerful for people to learn.
So I do hope you join us. But in closing out for today on marketing, because that's important, skyrocket your business with PR. You absolutely can do that. I think what the aha moment here that I saw for a lot of people was identifying that opportunity that you may have overlooked was the local, not realizing that power of local media that's all around you. That's your low-hanging fruit. Go after it and use your experiences, use your coursework you do, use your experiences like these challenges, like the mentorship program that you really should join if you're not, but if you have joined it, use that to also help continue to position yourself as an expert because you're learning, you're investing in yourself. That's all that I think you can ask for is that you invest in yourself to continue to look to how do you advance, how do you do better, how do you do better each day, how do you do better from each event.
And that's what we're doing together. That's one thing I want to say that I love about working with both of you is we're advancing together and we're sharing those stories behind the scenes. And I love that you have been so generous. I hope everyone realizes out there, even just for the price of the videos, you get more than 15 hours of David and Joey time. Like that is such a gift in itself. And when people are thinking that they're investing in themselves, they've been investing with those 15 hours of time with us. But at the same time, I think they will get so much return on that investment just from what you gave as a gift. And I want to thank you so much for being on this ride with us, for saying yes, for actually trying something that's uncharted. I mean, nobody else has done this before us. We are being the pioneers in how to connect with the community. And David and Joey, that you showed up, you shared this time, you were consistent, always present, is a miracle for us. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm saying it for the entire community. We're grateful. I know you have to run to another event and PR opportunity. Things happen and we have to be nimble and quick. I'm going to turn it back over to PJ and I and let you guys be free. I'm going to see you back here today at 2 p.m., right? 2 p.m. Pacific, Joey?
I will be back here with you, Lee, at 2, and I can't wait for our time with the community again and to do a recap on marketing and also share some previews of what our 90-day challenge is all about.
I love it. And we will talk more. I really want to make sure we honor your time today. I have Larissa from the Event Planners Association who's going to lead the Q&A with me in the VIP room today. And then at 2 p.m. come back. We have bonus time with Joey. We'll have some behind the scenes there and some VIP time as well. I'm so grateful again. David and Joey, you've been more than kind, more than generous, surprising us, having us in tears, having us laughing. You've taken us on an incredible journey together. We can't wait to have more dinners with David. We definitely want to share that with the group and keep connected through that no matter what. And then, of course, our mentor with David is such a beyond over the moon gift, and you have made it so affordable. And PJ and Penelope, you were right. They were so generous to make it so people can have an easy yes to invest in themselves. And David, you're right. If someone just learns one thing not to do, that can save them the whole year's tuition.
Exactly.
Just by one thing to not waste time and energy on, just one takeaway. And I guarantee every single meeting they will have gems and takeaways. And we'll talk about that more with some of the graduates and some of the people in the mentorship with Larissa. So everyone else, stay tuned. David and Joey, from the bottom of our hearts, we're so grateful. And Joey, yeah, anything you want, take it away.
So for everyone in the challenge, remember, submit your homework by midnight tonight because we want to see you on graduation on Saturday. We can't wait for that. So we want to see a huge group. Thank you all. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for being with us and inspiring us on this ride. And for those of you that are in the mentorship program already, we love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who are joining today, welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be able to be with you.
Yay, you guys are the best. And I love all the things you said today. You were so right on target. You gave so many great ideas today. I can't even believe how valuable this has been. So thank you again, both of you. We adore you.
Our pleasure. Bye, everyone.
I will see you later. See you at 2:00, Joey.
Hey,
Bye,
Lee,
everyone.
Lee, before we head over to VIP,
Yeah. Well, yeah, you and I can have a little conversation with Larissa, because I will say, Larissa is really a big heart for this community. Larissa is like, I'm an event planner and I know what it's like right now. And some of my columns are negative instead of positive in the financial department. And it's even hard to say yes to something that's so glorious. Maybe I can get ready for it. And so Larissa has been talking to us about how can we make sure that people know that they are part of this. So number one, we created the mentor with Joey and Lee so that we can get started. So at least for the next 90 days, you can go in the right direction. But Larissa is also inviting people in the Event Planners Association. And I will tell you, she's already planned a couple surprises, a couple bonuses from the Event Planners Association to people joining on right now. And one of those things is a content calendar, because that came up that so many people want to know an example of a content calendar. So she's going to put that in there as a bonus from the Event Planners Association. And I want to put in there, I have a PR marketing company. I've been doing public relations for 30 years, PJ, as you know. And my husband's been in hundreds of publications, from Martha Stewart to the TV Guide and Reader's Digest, like everywhere he's been, and news. And each of those PR opportunities create other opportunities. So I put a document together on how to get free PR. And Narina and I have been working on it for years and dusting it off for new meetings and making it new and relevant. So we're going to share that as a bonus from the event planners too. So Larissa is setting up her beta group to bring in event planners into the future. What's it like to be online? So all those people that join right now are also having the opportunity to be in a beta group with Larissa as part of the Event Planners Association. And this is a regular ongoing meeting. We've been doing it for over a decade. And in the event planners, we're teaching marketing and operations and sales and finance. And we're teaching all of these topics that you and I have been talking about, PJ. And it's been brilliant that David's been coming on and he's so in alignment with what we're already teaching. That's the beauty, is he's already doing it. We didn't have to teach David anything. He is now teaching other things to us. It's like the icing on top. It's the extra 10% bonus. It's the extra 20% flair that only David can do. And so we're getting that as well. I mean, Larissa and I are taking notes every day from him. And we want to be in that mentorship with David because we know what a gift it is. But Larissa's going to make sure she brings that brilliance right back to this community in the Event Planners Association. So no matter what, everyone has an opportunity to say yes. Larissa, we're going to be in the Q&A with the VIP after, so we'll talk more about it. But you can put some notes in where to find you, the Event Planners Association. and make sure that people on Facebook know how to reach you, and at least, you know, learn more about the Get Started program or whatever they need through the Event Planners Association eyes. But in the meantime, it's because of the Event Planners and Joey. Let's see, 2017, we published a book and we highlighted a whole bunch of event planners in it, 20 of them. They were guests on our podcast. We did 100 podcasts that year, and David was one of the guests. And we put 20 of those event planners in a book, and we published that book. And that was the very beginning of the relationship, right? And then I went to Santa Monica, and then I went and was a speaker for them in Bermuda. But each of those things built on the next one. And every single time I was there, I gave them ideas for PR and marketing. Every time I was of service to them, I never asked them for anything. I showed up and I said, oh, and I planted seeds for ideas for them. And a lot of it was around public relations. And a lot of it, I love that David pulled the curtain back and shared so many secrets today about how to get PR. And I know a few people asked, how do you know if your story is relevant? And I want to answer that. One of the things he told you was proximity, which is your local news. Another one is it relevant? Is it something that their audience wants or needs to know about? What is it something to celebrate, especially now? Because people want some good news. As you know, PJ, we had a Some Good News program together. And then, is it interesting? Is it something that people go, I need to know more? Because you always want to start out an idea with a way to ask them to be interested, to ask you more questions. So what you want to do is set up a way for them to show their interest so that they ask you a question. So when you start out, you just drop a little seed. You don't have to say everything. In my case, in a PR marketing company, I would say something like, you know how companies want to be seen in the media? Well, I help them do it. Well, why? They want to know, how do you do that? Or can you do that for me? They'll ask me a question if they're interested. How do you do that? If they don't ask a question, maybe it's not a good fit for them right now. And that's okay. But maybe they know somebody else that's a good fit, and I'll open that idea and they might recommend me to someone else. So be open to those kind of conversations. Larissa, you're hearing that too, right? Be open to those local media, those media things, like each one can lead to another one. And I have learned in the past in some of my brands, it starts with the local media, and then the national media wants to know more because things are syndicated. So you never know who's watching. I've had articles go in Los Angeles, and then all of a sudden it's in national publications a week later, and I had no idea it was going to be shared nationally. I was happy it was in LA, but then all of a sudden it was the whole nation talking about it. So it happened on its own because of syndication. And I think a lot of those PR ideas today that David gave, we are going to put in our notes and make sure that you guys get that in the recap, because they were very important things to put into place. And even if you don't go into mentorship with David.com, even if this is not the right timing now, what you got in these 15 hours of live with David and Joey is beyond amazing, especially that he did it for free. I mean, I am blown away that he said yes. And PJ, you and I are grateful because we are leveling up the way we do events based on being with them. Yep.
Totally. And, you know, we didn't talk about this, but if you are in a position to join the mentorship, one other bonus that you get when you sign up by Monday is a group VIP day with David. So he's going to take 4 people and like put them in the hot seat and go deep into their business. And it's really, really, really exciting bonus, you know, $10,000 value on that. So make sure that if this is something that is resonating with you, you jump in. And like I said, you can get started for as little as $297. So definitely check that out at mentorwithdavid.com. And
and the other thing is Joey, you know, Joey's so remarkable. He has over 200 hours in coaching himself. He's a master coach. I have a master's degree in coaching as well. That is part of the reason why we threw in the Get Started package, is because even if you're mentoring with David, which is remarkable, we want to make sure that you're seen and heard by Joey, who runs the business behind the scenes, because he has some ideas and some perspectives that are absolutely incredible based on his experiences as a CEO of his company. So PJ, I think a lot of people were asking for more Joey time, and some people even asked for more time with me. And I'm just honored that that we can put that get started package together, and that Joey said, yes, we could do it as a bonus. We have people that signed up last time on their own. And if they did join the mentorship, I will make sure that they get something even more special because they said yes twice. So we will not leave them behind. I have all their names. I know who they are. And Joey and I are just so excited to deep dive in more. And PJ, you and I share a lot of information in that group because we have years and years of gathering work evidence that works. We know what works, what doesn't. We've done internet marketing for more than a decade together. And because we're going online, there are a lot of things to learn. That's the thing. That's part of the reason why I'm bringing in Larissa for the Event Planners Association to absolutely have that beta team, is to help them go online, because they need which things to use and how to support each other and how do I post on social media. They need all those little step-by-step, how do I do this right now? And Larissa's heart is making sure that all the event planners get an opportunity to understand how to go online, how to take their business into the future, right? We know that the past is what it was, and there's so many beautiful things about it, but I don't know if that's the exact that we're going to have in the future. The future is different. We're transforming. And what we're going to do in the Event Planners Association, and what we are doing, is sharing those case studies, sharing that support, sharing that community of what works now. And that's on a regular basis. I mean, Larissa's always going to be adding more information and small breakout groups and topic centric categories so that people can come in and say, oh, it's about PR this time, I want to learn more, and they'll deep dive more. Or, oh, it's about internet marketing time, and they can choose their interest groups, and she'll build community around that. So no matter what, we want to make sure every event planner has the opportunity to say yes, to be in this community more. The other thing we're going to do is keep this Facebook group open. There's a lot of challenges that as soon as the group is done with the challenge, they shut down the Facebook group. And we had talked about it before, and we thought, why shut it down? It's already in momentum. It's having fun, and it's a great place for people to share. And we'll open it up so people can share even more, especially around graduation. I'll let Tori work with us on that, and Larissa on, what can we do after graduation to celebrate the graduates. I know that Tori said more than 200 of you have already been on the path of success. And when we talk about the deadlines are always Pacific time, because guess what? That's where I live. That's where PJ lives. That's where David lives. We're on Pacific time. So if anyone's wondering what time to turn in their homework, it is Pacific time. If anyone's wondering what time does the deal close on Monday, it's Pacific time. The bonuses go away at midnight Pacific on Monday. So between now and then, it's very clear. That's your timeline. Figure things out, what works for you. And we want to be there for you as much as possible. That's why we're even doing midnight Pacific. It gives some extra time for those people on the East Coast. And we're here, we're working, and we have Skippy here and Larissa and everybody that wants to support you. Larissa's going to do more Q&A. And PJ, do you have anything you want to say before we turn it over to Larissa, and then we'll go?
Yeah, so we have a couple questions. One is what's the difference between the mentorship and the EPA? So the mentorship is where you get to, mentor personally with David Tutera. It's a very high level mentorship program. The EPA is membership in a trade association. And we encourage you to do both, because when you're as part of a trade association, it gives you some instant credibility, in the industry with your clients. You have, permission to use the EPA logo on your website and stuff. We have resources, tools, legal templates, and, we're adding trainings like Lee was talking about. But it is not a, curated high-level mentorship program the way the David Tutera mentorship is. So we encourage you to do both.
Absolutely. And the EPA has been around for over a decade, being an association, and that is how I made my connection with David in the first place, is by being part of by being the Event Planning Association. He asked me to be a guest speaker because he wanted the association part of his events. And he wanted access actually to our members as well, because he's always looking for interns and collaborative partners. And if he's doing events in certain cities and you guys are part of his mentorship, there's opportunity, I bet, for him to be like, hey, I could actually use help in that city. Could you step up? I've seen it happen over and over. We can't promise it because it's organic and authentic and it has to work for both sides, but it's the way an opportunity happens is being in the room. I mean, the last few days I talked about different mentorship programs I'm in, and one of them's $50,000 a year, one of them $60,000 a year. I've done both of them. That's over $100,000 last year just for those two groups. So I could be in the room with other people that think at that level. So I could be with that mentor and learn how he thinks because he's ahead of me. And that's part of the reason we were inspired to bring David to you guys. Now, people like Larissa, who have been in this industry for a long time, said there's only a certain amount that a lot of people can afford right now, and how do we make them all included? And so when we looked at it in the first place, we just said, this is one thing that we can do is mentor with David and let's see if it works. And that's the only thing we did. And the first round, which was 2 months ago, people signed on. People like Brenda, they were like, I'm in right away. There were several people that are like at the gate before we even opened it saying, I want to be in. And of those people, we said we wanted to have 100 in the founders group. So the minute we had 100, we stopped that offer. And that is David's founders group. And forever, they're going to be David's founders group. He knows them. One of his bonuses he did in the second month was call every single person who signed on, called them at their house and welcomed them to the group. Because he knew at that point it was going to be 100 people, but at the same time, he knew he can handle it. So this time we listened to everyone, and what everyone said is they needed the Get Started program. They wanted more time with Joey. They wanted time with David, which is really phenomenal, but they needed some of the nitty gritty. And then a lot of people joined in the Get Started program. And now Joey was so kind and offered it as a bonus for this round. That's a special bonus for this round. Each round got a bonus. The first one, they were the ones that got access to David all on their own for a whole month. They had access to David 2 calls where David got to know them and their businesses because the group was so small and just the beta beginning. The second group, he said, oh, I'm going to have a phone call with them. That was the bonus for people who took action that time. And I'm so grateful for the people who did. Some of them, including Tori on our team, said it changed her life to get a call from David Cetera, right? And Joey Toth, same thing, like just having him give you a call, like, wow, that's amazing. This time, what we did is we added the Get Started program. So the people that joined this time, I'm sorry you didn't have the other 2 months with David. I'm sorry that last time you didn't get the call, because those people who took action then, that was their bonus. This bonus this time is the Get Started package. Now, of course, Joey and PJ and I behind the scenes are like, hey, how can we make it available for some other people? We'll think of some of those things later. Right now, we just want to talk to the people that have already said yes and see what the results they're getting, and does it feel good, and are they glad they said yes? And Larissa has some of those people she wants to talk to as well. And the other thing we want to do is set you guys up for success. This is your time to say yes for what's right for you. And I think, PJ, you know, you have been so generous too. And I love that you've been part of my team for so long, and that you just share your gems and your knowledge in such a beautiful way. It takes it down to an easy, consumable way of digesting it and then repeating it. And I wanted to say I'm so grateful for you, David, Joey, like each of you sharing your genius in this 15 hours of these challenges is really more than we could all ask for. And honestly, it's been such a gift. And when everyone's thinking like, how do I get a mentor? You just had one for 15 hours. You had this group mentoring you. No matter what, get the videos, if nothing else, and go back and go through it and be happy you had 15 hours of mentorship that was just literally made possible for free on the internet because of social media and because of people having a big heart. Because David and Joey have a big heart and want to see you guys successful, they're literally reaching out and saying, come with us, learn, we'll be vulnerable. PJ, do you remember in challenge number 2, I even had them online after their workout when they weren't ready for camera, and they were vulnerable and they laughed. And David's like, this is the first thing I tell people is always be camera ready, because if you're not camera ready, you'll be sorry. And here he was after the gym hopping on, thinking it was a private call for us, and we tested live, and they went with the flow. And he said, well, I guess you could see I'm actually really going to be 100% transparent in this, because I'm not even camera ready and I'm on camera, and this is forever on the internet. And I laughed because he was so in the moment and transparent. And that's what he's been through this whole experience. And it is rare. It is rare. And I know he says he's not a celebrity and he's a celebrity wedding planner, but there is celebrity attached to him, and people that have that degree where they post a picture and hundreds of thousands of people like it in a day. Like even they said their mind's blown when that happens. But when someone has that kind of influence, they're a celebrity. Now, he in his mind doesn't want to feel like that because he just wants to be a really great event planner. And that's what makes him special. That's what makes him different than any other person that I work with like this, is he really wants all of us to be successful together from his heart, really genuine. And it is rare, don't you think, PJ?
Totally. And it's so wonderful to get to have this time with him for all of us. So thank you for making this all possible, because this was really your vision, Lee. You were like, let's bring all these people together and co-create this experience. So thank you for making this possible for all of us.
It is my pleasure. And I will say one of my geniuses is I am a magnet for amazing people. I am a magnet for amazing people. So that's why people like David and Joey show up in my life, or David Nagel, or you, or Sage Levine, who was on here last time, absolute friggin' rock star, or Lisa Nichols. I am a magnet for amazing people, and I believe that. And so I'm at that frequency that amazing people show up. So I know that you guys are blown away. So many people have wanted to hire Skippy. I know he gets messages all the time, but thank God he's committed to me, because I have him for life. I love him. And I look at Arby, and I look at Narina and Penelope, and everyone's like, how do I get a piece of them? Hey, you guys, be respectful that I put my team together to serve you guys. And they're very committed to what we're doing. So I really ask you to respect the fact and thank me for sharing them with you. But don't try to go behind my back and hire them, because that's not honorable to me. Honorable to me is see how great they do and have someone model that for you. I am sharing with you guys out of the love of my heart, and I hope you want me to continue sharing. If you try to steal my team, that doesn't feel good. It feels good for you to honor my team and send me a note and say, thank you for sharing Skippy. But writing Skippy a note and saying, can I hire you to do something, when he's working with me full time and learning from me and mentoring with me, do you see that that doesn't make me feel good? It makes me feel good when you honor it and honor the source and say you're inspired. So I do want to be clear with that. That does trigger me a little, because I'm like, wait, I'm a magnet for great people. And I had to kiss 100 frogs to get one Skippy on my team. Larissa, isn't that true? I mean, we have to go through 100 people to get one Skippy. I have to know 1,000 people on the planet to get a PJ. Penelope is not available for everyone. She is very gracious. She teaches finance, and we'll make her available in the mentorship, and we will absolutely call her back and ask her to be part of this. You can count on it. She's one of my best friends on the planet. Honor her, but honor the process here that we're bringing you these mentors. We're sharing this. I just want you guys to show up in gratitude back and not tell me I can't afford it. No, that's your story. That's not my story. That is your story. I can't afford it. That I never say that. You will never hear me ever say that, as I paid $116,000 for my Tesla last year in cash, because I don't need a mortgage. I make money. I go out and sell more things. I make money. I make opportunities. I never say I can't afford it. So you guys saying that in my chat, that doesn't make me like you or notice you. That makes me think, oh, I'm sad for them, that their mindset is that even after listening to David Nagel, them saying I can't afford it after listening to Narina. That means you need to go listen to the videos, which is your mindset needs to be at the frequency of what you do want. We pulled the curtain back on a Saturday morning and taught event planners how to be in the mindset of, what do I want? What do I want to create? Now you're at your beginning point wherever you want to be. What we've graciously done is shared some of the milestones and some of the things that work for us. I shared Skippy. He got up in the middle of the night. He's been working 10 days straight every day to be here and available, so I know I can count on him and have the technology in place. He went and learned new things over the last 3 challenges that he never even knew he needed to know. I love working with Skippy. I love honoring him. He feels like a celebrity, by the way, you guys. You've made him a little embarrassed. But I'm telling you this because I want you to understand I have feelings too. I'm still a person. And someone like Skippy is important to me, and PJ is important to me, and I honor them. And I want you guys, to be grateful for that. You telling me what you can't do does not help me and does not help the Event Planners Association. We're in a what we can do attitude. So what's going to resonate with us is when you show up in what you can do. We gave you 3 entry points to say yes. One of them is work with Larissa. Go to the Event Planners Association. We weren't going to mention it, but for everyone who complained they didn't have money, we're like, well, let's give them another option. This is the lowest barrier of entry, but the highest level of Larissa that you could get, which is amazing that it's available. And it's only $20 a month. So that's the easiest thing. That's the easiest yes. That's a few Starbucks. I don't want to hear I can't afford it. What I want to hear is thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for bringing us Larissa. Thank you for letting us have a mentor through Larissa. Oh, and we get access to Joey and you, and we get access to David if we say yes to these opportunities. Boom, then you guys are in. And if you're in the Cool Kids Club, you're going to be the ones that are going to be on the front pages of newspapers. You're going to be the ones that are making a difference. You're going to be the ones inspired. You're going to be the ones like Brenda who get to go out in the world and say, I'm mentoring with David Cetera. Boom. That literally levels you up in your whole community because there's only going to be so many people who get to do that. And
I just want to add
It's
too,
amazing.
somebody said, oh man, I wish I was one of the founding members. Like if you sign up, you right now, this is still the very, very beginning. And I don't know if they're ever going to offer this mentorship program again. So signing up now, you're still in a small elite group. David and Joey and Lee and I will know you and you'll get to interact with us. So even though you might not have like the founding member title because you didn't get in 2 months ago, you are still like at the leading edge. I just want to make sure that's very clear.
that is very true. Thanks for that distinction. It's so true. And that's part of the opportunity is entry level Event Planners Association. All of you should be in there. There's no reason not to. It actually helps you in so many ways. But then you get to be with Larissa and be part of her beta and her founders group of where she's going into the next generation and phase of our businesses. How are we reinventing now? She's going to help guide us with the things to pay attention to. Then we have entry with Lee and Joey. What can you do to get started now? That's another easy yes. And then also the opportunity with David. And I think we made it as easy as possible. And I'm so grateful to Larissa and for PJ and for Joey and for David for them saying yes. I am coming from gratitude, front and center. I'm coming from gratitude for them. And because I'm showing up every day, sending them texts, sending them little like jiffies that we've made. Yay, we love the team. And the reason is because it lifts us all together. And I want you guys with us. That's it. I really do. And I will say, I am not an excuse person. I will not take excuses. If you guys give me excuses, honestly, it's not good a fit for you to be in the community. If your mindset is in, I'm in excuse land and here's why it won't work and why I don't have enough money, go listen to David Nagel videos. Go listen to him and his mindset and learn that you get to create your future with your words. You get to create your future with your actions. You get to create and vote with your dollars where you want to go. Vote with your energy. Vote with your relationships. Vote with your passion. Those are your 4 currencies: money, time, relationships, and passion. In this community, you get to have all 4. That's the beauty of it. You get to be safe. You get to have a cape on or cape off. You get to learn about Messenger. You get to learn about internet marketing. Like, we just want to make sure you're not left behind. We want to make sure you're with us and going there. And PJ and I have been doing this literally more than a decade together. I've been doing it for 22 years. I said to my team yesterday, I'm glad I've been doing this 22 years because if I had to learn it all today, it would be so daunting. It would be so hard to make decisions. Which CRM, which Facebook ads person, which whatever do I need? It would be so daunting. But David said it first. And I agree with him. I wish I had this when I got started. I wish I had the access to someone like David who could shorten my learning curve and add that 20% extra flair that no one else can. See, that's the difference between Joey, me, and David. Only David is David. None of us, I'm sitting here taking notes from David every time he talks because I learn every single time. Even though I have a degree from college in public relations, I have a degree in marketing, I have a bonus business degree, I went to Wharton School of Business, I paid the dues in so many ways, and I still take notes from David. I still do because there's something about what he teaches that no one else sees it that way. And that he could explain it in words and we can visualize and see it, and that he'll share pictures. Like I've shared this with you guys before. Some of my favorite moments are David Cetera moments because these are his moments. He creates a feeling. He takes it to another level. That came out of his head. I know I have to get out of the way so you guys can see. He, in his mind, created something that I couldn't even, like, how do you do that? In other countries, get all of those pieces to fall together. How do you set up a luncheon and make it feel like that when you walk in the room? Everything just feels so intentional, and it is. I've been with him. He goes before the event. He sets it up. He creates an energy. He's part of every little piece. When I was with him in Santa Monica, he made paper roses. I actually have them here. He made paper roses for all of us. He handmade these, him and Joey. And I'm like, wow, who does that? He made that for 50 of us and had it on the table. And he's like, yeah, Joey and I, the team, we made that. And I love him so much. I have him and it's years later. So nobody else does that. He's just so much a miracle. So PJ, I know you and I have learned so much. We love sharing. We're going to switch over to the VIP room. We're going to be back with Larissa for Q&A. Larissa, do you want to add anything right now?
Yes, I just want to say thank you everybody for being here, for doing all this challenge. I know there was like a lot from a fire hose. There's like so much information, but you know, I've been doing events my whole life and weddings for the past like.
Oh, we lost
And
your.
what absolute lesson. Oh, can you hear?
I think your
City's
connection is a little
Can you
tenuous.
hear
I
me?
know you're calling in from Costa Rica, so it could be a little tough, but we'll come back to you and share more. I think you're going to have a Q&A session. Is that today?
Yeah, in like half an hour.
Okay, so at
Yeah.
noon, you're going to come back. We'll have you sign off and come back on, and Skippy will bring you live at noon. And what you can do is do a live Q&A on Facebook with both the VIP and the Zoom groups. That sound okay? Okay, so PJ, I think we'll sign off on
Sounds great.
Facebook right now, and we'll come back in 30 minutes. We'll have a live with Larissa where she'll have Q&A for anyone who has questions about the Event Planners Association, about any of the programs we're offering. And if PJ, you'll stay in the VIP room with us for a little bit and we'll answer some questions in there.
Yeah, so just to wrap up and just to make it clear, you know, I'm watching the questions in the Facebook feed as well. So, you know, we are really, really, really passionate about supporting you as an event planning professional and supporting this industry. And David and Joey and Lee and Larissa and Tori and all of us, like, we're so passionate about supporting you. Regardless of your financial situation. So we've done everything we can to make the mentorship as affordable as possible, given what it takes to run it and offer it. And we recognize that still might be too much of a stretch for some people, even the $297 a month payment plan, which is why we're also doing the Get Started program. We'll put the link for that in the units. And which is why we're also doing EPA at only $20 a month. And if even $20 a month for stretch for you, you have this whole challenge. You have all of these trainings that we've done. We're leaving the Facebook group open for you. You can get on the Event Planners Association broadcast list for free. You can network with this community for free. So wherever you're at, there is support here and there is love here. And we appreciate you and we believe in you.
That's so true. And actually, we're not even done with the bonuses this week. I mean, we are offering this through Monday, which is Labor Day weekend. My team came to me and asked for a little extra time so people could figure things out. Maybe they'll see their family over Labor Day and get a surprise or something. Who knows? Getting that extra support could be helping people, be over the moon with this idea, like I am. But what I will say is, right now, we do want to support you. We are going to keep the Facebook Live group open. And also we have some bonuses this week. Tomorrow is Thursday at 10 a.m. We have our special RJ coming in, and RJ is the person who created our Facebook messengers, right? So all of those Facebook Messenger messages and pictures and fun things, go and look at those. That is RJ's work. And we added her on this challenge to teach you guys how to engage with your audience, but also we're showing you how Larissa and I want to engage with you guys as our audience, right? How do we have a connection with you? How do we make it so you know we're paying attention? And by the way, I see a lot of those messenger notes, just so you know, they come in my notifications. I see who's answering. I see who's asking questions. I'm paying attention. I have the notifications on so I can see how you guys are interacting. What kind of questions are you asking? What kind of things are you doing? Sometimes I answer it myself and it's specific for me. You just don't know. You think it's from a robot, but it's really from me. And sometimes it's even after midnight. That's how much I love it. So we are bringing RJ here tomorrow at 10 a.m. She's going to talk about the campaign she did with us. She's going to talk about how she inspired my team, including Skippy, especially Skippy. She inspired our team to create superhero personas. So Skippy is working on that. He's made it. That's how I know he's here forever, because we let him be so creative in so many ways that he never imagined he'd bring into his job. But we're like, yeah, create superhero personas with us. And you have RJ to do it with. And what I want to let you know is that's how much we're being inspired in real time by this group, is by us coming to serve you has made us even deepen our relationship, not only in our team, but also for how we want to show up for other people. Like we want to show up even with you guys with our superhero persona. And I will also say, Larissa has also said how much she loves these challenges. The entire team is so engaged and inspired, and we love sharing this information. And we're going to figure out a way to do more in the future. We did commit to 3 in a row for David and Joey, so that during COVID time, while we had them on their calendar, because you see their calendar fills up. What we learned is that maybe we'll do this once a quarter. Maybe we'll gear up, and once a quarter we'll pick a topic, and Larissa's going to be really in charge of that. That's part of the reason you want to be in her beta, because if you're in her beta right now, what happens is, which is her inaugural group inside the Event Planners Association, if you're in the beta, you have a voice in the topics we're going to talk about. And that's one of the things that's going to be really fun to share with you, is those topics that she's cooking up. We'll have guests coming in, just like my friends I've introduced you to before. We will have guests like that coming into the event planners, and also Mentor with David will have it. He'll have some of his friends, and Joey and I will. So our guests and our networks are definitely people that want to come in and share their genius with you. They're so generous. I mean, I look at David Nagel from yesterday and think, how did we get so lucky for him to say yes to come in here and teach us mindset? And I think him sharing those mindset ideas, these are things I've been doing more than 10 years, and I'm in congruence with him. Him sharing those things with you, if it's just the beginning, I understand how you show up in lack sometimes, but I'm saying go back and watch that, and he'll say, showing up in lack doesn't help you. He gave us the rule yesterday. If you keep your mind in lack, you'll stay in lack. If you switch it to abundance, you'll go into abundance. That is a big lesson. Please go back and listen to David Nagel. He was very specific. I mean, like halfway through, he started switching it on your subconscious and your conscious, and how to be in charge of it for your better good, for your better future. So we're going to take it in the VIP room. I'm so grateful for all of you. I know, PJ, you've been watching chat. Do you have yet another question you want to answer, or do you want to go to VIP?
No, I think we got it. The biggest question is like, where do I join the EPA? So if you go to eventplannersassociation.com, eventplannersassociation.com, and click join us, that's how you get in for the $20 a month.
And that used to be $4.97 a year. That used to be $4.97 a year. And that was one of the things we did, was reverse that to $20 a month, so it's easy for the group. Go ahead, Larissa.
I was going to say, then if people wanted to have a bit of a savings, because there are some people who want to come in at the 197, if you scroll down towards the bottom of the page, there is a button there for the 197. So you get to save about 2 months worth of
oh yeah, that's annual, 197 annual. And by the way, that's a business deduction. And on top of it, you get to use it as not only a business deduction, but also an educational expense. This is investing in your education. So, but also I do love being able to use that association badge, because when I use that, it does get me credibility out in the world. People appreciate it. So great. Thank you guys, everyone. Larissa, thank you for, being our guide into the future. Because honestly, I've been looking for 2 years for someone like Larissa, who understands being an event planner and understands internet marketing. And it is such an anomaly. She and I are like 2 of the only ones that I know so far. You guys can send me more, because there's room to collaborate. I do not see them as competition. I see everyone who has a love for the internet marketing and for event planners. I see them all as collaborators. There's room for all of us. See, it's the abundant mindset. There's room for all of us. That's why I bring David into here. I bring David in not only to collaborate and share with you guys, but I bring him in because I'm inspired by him too. So it's something that helps all of us, and we lift together. So Larissa, thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being a guide, for making time. I know you're in Costa Rica and Paradise, and you've been on here every day with us and part of this. And we entered your life in such a big, bold way because of my friend, Charles. And I mentioned to all of you, always honor the origin. And Charles Bird was on our group call last challenge. In challenge number 2, Charles was on the call. And at the end of the call, he texted me and he goes, I have a perfect person for you. She's in Costa Rica. She's an amazing event planner, and she understands internet marketing. May I make an introduction? And I was like, okay. And I thought, this is too good to be true. I've been wanting this forever. I hope it comes out of the challenge. And it did. I thought it was going to come out of the challenge from the people participating. And by the way, a couple people did apply for jobs with me, and Tori did get one as a community manager. She was amazing. She showed up in the community. She got an opportunity. I'm going to make her full-time as soon as I can. As soon as this challenge is over, I want to bring her in and have her be a community manager with Larissa. You guys get Tori. Tori came out of the last challenge as a participant, and she joined Mentor with David. She paid full price to be in that group. And now she got a job out of it because of the way she showed up. And she's learning. She didn't come in polished and knowing everything, but she came in with the right attitude. And the attitude, the can-do attitude, that's what you hire for. You hire for attitude, you train for skill. Tori is a perfect example. You guys get to watch her grow inside the community, but also celebrate her. And don't just try to hire her, please. I mean, come on. We had this conversation. Please don't do that. But at the same time, there's room for collaboration. There's room to support her. There's room to mentor each other. There's room for bigger opportunities. But Larissa and I want to groom her for being a guide and a leader for this community. That's what we want to do. And she has all the potential, and it showed up in the challenge. But I thought that Larissa was going to show up in the challenge too. Nope, it was a relationship, someone who cared about me, who went and made the connection. So I want to say I'm grateful for Charles Bird for connecting Larissa and I, and I'm grateful, Larissa, for you saying yes and taking, just like David and Joey, taking an opportunity and saying, I don't know where this is going, but let me make a difference. Let me be a spokesperson for this industry because I know how it feels from experience. And Larissa, that you're saying yes and you're giving us this time and you're showing up like this is beyond words. So amazing.
Thank you so much, Lee, and thank you to everybody for making me feel so welcome. I am so excited because we're in a whole new world. And we're a whole new world.
It is true. We are in a whole new world, number one. And number two, we have people like PJ and you and David and Joey who have learned from the old world, learned the new world, and now integrate. And my husband teaches integrative medicine for animals, and I see how different his education is from the other veterinarians, because the other veterinarians know general practice and some know holistic practice, but there's very few that know both like him. And I think that's what's so special about you, and that's what's so special about Joey, is both of you know both sides of the industry. You understand the internet marketing, you understand creating relationships and an experience, but you also understand what it's like to be an event planner on site, working with vendors, knowing which ones show up, and then when the ones that don't show up, you have to do their job. That kind of makes it hard, but you know what it feels like because you've been in the trenches. And that is the gift of you. And I am really grateful for Charles for making that happen and for loving me enough to make sure that it actually happened. He hopped on the Zoom call with us. He's like, oh, I'm not leaving this to chance. I'm hopping with you guys. So, and that's how RJ came to us as well, by the way. Charles said, oh, you want Messenger? I have the perfect person for you. But I've tried 20 other people for Messenger over the last 3 years, and she's the best. She's the one. And that one, we will make something available for you guys with RJ. Don't worry. We will not leave you behind, but let us figure that out. Okay, so that's a scoop. Skippy, you want to take us into the VIP room? Oh, wait. We should get a class picture. Can you do that, Skippy, like John does? So we've been doing one with the team, and we do this little rocking and we say yay. So I love the group in the VIP group to do a little screenshot. Make sure your camera's on, and we'll do a little yay. And then Skippy will have that. He'll have it for the replays. And it's been so fun, and it makes me happy when I open those. Penelope was the first one who introduced me to doing my own. She did some great ones, and I've been inspired. And while John was here, we did a whole bunch. So, okay, Skippy, you ready? You want to lead us?
You didn't see it?
Okay, put your cameras on, everyone, so you can be on screen. Okay. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Yay. You guys look so happy and cheerful. I love it. This is actually fun. I know we ended our team calls like that the last 2 days, and we just were over the moon together. So that's my theme behind me for that reason. I'm over the moon to be with all of you guys right now. And
I got to get Fred.
Everything looks so beautiful and we love it. And thank you guys for being on this ride with us. We'll see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. with RJ. I have a special on Saturday at 10 a.m. I have Scott Donald coming back, who did our myfirstsale.com. And he's going to come back and he's going to talk about how he was in the media this week and his kids. Some of the kids that were on myfirstsale.com were on Channel 7 and interviewed, and he's going to talk about that experience. And then also a lot of event planners wanted him back as an encore. So Saturday at 10 a.m. we'll do that. So that's the scoop, everyone. And then Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific is our graduation. David and Joey will be part of it. So everyone who turns in all their homework by tonight at midnight, we have Tori over the next 2 days. Over the next 2 days, Tori is making certificates for all the graduates. Like I said, we have over 200 already. So give her some space and time. If you do not turn it in Wednesday by midnight, that's okay. It's just you're not going to be eligible for graduation, but we're still going to celebrate your success and you still got all the great nuggets. But we have to make a deadline because Tori's spending her time doing those and she needs to know how much time for each person. And I know Skippy behind the scenes is probably planning something special for us with music. And so let them do their jobs Thursday and Friday to be ready on Saturday, which is a bonus. So Wednesday, midnight, which is tonight at midnight Pacific, which is 12 hours from now. If all of your homework is in, you are eligible for graduation and we want to celebrate with you. Everyone is invited to graduation. Even if you don't do your homework, still join us Saturday at 5 p.m. because we'll have more time with David and Joey. Okay, Skippy, take us out. Thank you, everyone. We love and adore you. We'll see you again today at 2 o'clock with Joey. Thanks, PJ. Thanks, Larissa.